Yeah, hello, good day everyone. It's good to have you guys back here. Welcome to my channel, Learn with Tech. Yeah, it's good to have you guys back here, and I'm so excited. We're starting this journey with everyone here. So this is the very first series of my software development training, which I'll be releasing on my channel here. So you guys will have access to a series of videos that can train you guys on how to become a software developer. At least it will give you the basic knowledge, and it can even make you an intermediate developer if you really work hard on those things that I'll be sharing on this channel. So welcome once again. For those who are just checking my channel, if you are just visiting my channel, my name is Idris Adegbite, and I am a software developer. I currently run a digital startup, Tech, where I provide services such as web design and development, and also web management. I also provide digital marketing services. So I believe all these things work together, and what I simply do is I help businesses grow their presence online, as well as make sales online. So quickly, we'll be looking at software development throughout this training series. So I'll be taking you guys through the journey. We'll be looking at how to write codes to create web applications, websites, and every other important stuff that you can create with codes. So but before we dive into that, I think it will be better to understand what we want to do, really. You understand? So I think like a popular saying which goes thus: when the importance of something is not known, then abuse is inevitable. I don't know if that really works here, but simply I'm just trying to tell you guys that if you don't really understand what you want to do, you might not really take it serious. So which in this case might be the abuse that we have in that particular quote. Yeah, sorry for that. It's just a kind of diversion, but I think it's necessary anyway. So what is software development? Why are we even doing this? What exactly is this software development? So simply, software development is just how to program applications to solve real world problems. When I say real world problems, I don't mean you want to solve the problem of the whole world. You get? So a problem can be so small but have a very high impact on the whole world. You get? So an example that we've seen really is delivery, like delivery services. So you can just sit at home, order for something online, and they will deliver it to you anywhere you are in this world. You get? So those things are possible because someone somewhere sat down and saw that as a problem. Then they created a solution, which is write some kind of programs that can be turned into an application or software. You get? So that people can easily use it and use it to make order and get whatever thing they want with ease. They can easily sit at home or sit or be anywhere they are, order for things they want, and get those things instantly without delay. You get? So those things are kind of solutions that people have written codes to solve. You get? So you can see how simple that kind of problem is. So you don't need to think of solving the problem of the whole world. You get? So start by looking for a solution that you can solve in your environment, in your state, in your community, and all that thing. And I bet you, if that solution is okay, then you can easily upgrade it to a global solution. So that's fine. So software development is just writing programs, applications to solve real world problems. So now after this, how do we write applications, or how do we even write codes? You get? So we can do this by using our programming languages. What is even programming? So simply, programming is just using of codes, like programming codes, you get, to control our computer. You get? So we use these codes, or we can write these codes to tell our computer to do something for us. Like we know from our elementary studies that computers are dummies. Yes, computers are dummies, really, because it is what you tell it to do that it will actually do. So we can take advantage of that to use our codes, you get, to make the computer do specific tasks for us. So which is actually what programming what entails. So how do we use these codes to control the system? Because the system only understands the computer language, you get, which are zeros and one. You get, so the computer does not really understand our normal language, but then we still use this our normal English language to write these codes. So that is because some people somewhere, like some people have already sat down to also solve the problem of interacting with the system with what zeros and one. You get, so they solve the problems by making sure that they create high level languages for us, where we can use that to communicate with the system, and the computer by itself, alongside some softwares, we know how to convert those things that we are feeding it into the language that it understands, and it will definitely give us the output that we want. Yeah, so that is basically what programming is, which is using code to do what? To command the computer to do what? To perform specific tasks for us. So thank you very much. So after talking about that, I mentioned that we have programming languages that we can use to write codes, you get, that can instruct the computer on what to do. So part of those programming languages are what we'll be looking at on this channel. You get, so example of those languages, we have HTML, we have CSS, and we have JavaScript, we have PHP, we have Go, we have Python. Which other one again? Okay, you can just name it, you can go online, you search for it. We have several programming languages, and the simple stuff common to everything is that they are all used to do what? To write codes that can do what? That can instruct the computer on what to do. So thank you very much. Now, among all these languages that I've mentioned, it will be great to point out that those languages, some are splitted, like, okay, they are splitted into two, you get, or you can split it into two. So we have the front end programming languages, and we have the back end programming languages. So just like the name implies, the front end programming languages are used for front end development, while the back end programming languages are used for what? Back end development. So I think we still need to go further a bit. So what is front end development? So front end development is just the creation of the aspects that users of an application can see and can interact with. You get, so your front end or the front end of an application is simply that part of the application where the users can interact with, where the user can see, where the user can easily play around with. You get, so let's take for instance on a website now, you can, okay, let's take for instance on Jumia websites. You get, so on Jumia websites, once you visit jumia.ng, I think so, then you come across, or you are going to see the products that they have. You will see the prices. Sometimes you can even get form to request for maybe an extra order or a special order, or maybe you want to make a complaint. You then you see the form there, you can fill the form, then submit whatever query that you have. You get, you can also look at the products that they have, you see the price, you can compare prices and do all those things. Those parts the users are seeing, those parts you can see, those parts you can interact with, they are the front end. You get, so anything, any part of the application that you can interact with, it is called what? The front end. Now what is the back end? Okay, and the languages we use for the front end are simply HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So those are the parent programming languages, because CSS now, CSS has its own framework and libraries that you can use. You get, but everything is still under what? CSS. JavaScript also has its own framework and library that you can use, but everything is still what? Classified as what? CSS. So we can simply say that we have three languages for the front end development, so which are HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And mind you, these are the languages that we'll be looking at first on this channel. That is after this brief introduction. You get, so the next thing we'll now move to is back-end development. What is back-end development? What do we even mean by back-end development? Now we've already said that the part of the application where the users interact with is called the front end. Now which one is the back end? So the back end is simply that part that the user cannot interact with. So where is that part and what is going on in that part? So that part is where the logics that controls the functional part of your application stays. You get, so that is where all the logics that is controlling the functional part of your website, or the most or the interactive part of your application, that is where those logic stays. You get, so the user cannot interact with those things. An example, or a quick example, is, now I just mentioned something like the Jumia website. So you can easily order for your goods, or maybe you want to make a complaint, then you are using their form. On the form, they will tell you to provide your name, you provide your email, you provide your phone number. You can tell them what's wrong, or maybe if you have a special order, you can tell them the special order you need. You get, so when you are done putting all this data, then you press your submit button, and boom, everything you typed has been sent to them. You get, you don't even know what's you can't really say what has happened behind the scene. You get, and if that particular form has not been programmed well, it's possible that all the data that you entered will not even get to the owner of the website. You get, but it's because someone somewhere has developed the logic that will make that particular data that you are sending to them to get to the owner, and at the same time they can use it to process one of the things that you need. And mind you, sometimes you guys can fill a form online, and before you be able to access other things on that website or the web application, they will tell you to check your email for a confirmation email. Then you can confirm the email, then continue with whatever thing you want to do. So those things are logics. It's a kind of logic that is doing all those things in the background. You don't really need to see it, but you just have to see that, okay, it is working. You sent a form, right, from the website, and maybe after 10 to 20 minutes, then they called you back and said, oh, sorry, we received your order, all this kind of stuff. So to you, you know that, oh, this form actually worked, but how it worked and how it delivered your messages, you get, you can't really even say about that. You get, so that's basically the back end of an application. It handles everything regarding what the logics and database. You get, so those names that you've sent to them, sometimes they can just undo whatever thing you want and send it to the people that will undo your request and all those. But the world has changed now. Everyone is keeping data so that they can keep track, or so that they can keep in touch with their customers and clients. So now backend also do more of what database management and database implementation. You get, so they just try to keep data and all those things so that they can keep track of their client's journey or their customer journey on their website or on their application. You must have seen this before. An example is, if you go to check something on Jumia now, maybe you checked HP laptop, maybe the latest HP laptop. Before you know, if you go to Facebook and you're just playing around on Facebook, you will see that particular laptop that you checked appeared on your Facebook, and you'll be surprised, like, really, I did not check this thing on Facebook. So you get, so there is a way that they've saved your data, you get, directly from your system, and they've been using that one to monitor you. Anywhere you go to, they can advertise that particular stuff you checked to you, so that you can easily come back and make the full purchase of whatever thing you want to do. So those are the logic parts. In fact, backend is very, very interesting, but is mainly for people who likes to brainstorm, people who likes to fight with, like, people who like to battle with problems, you get, because back there in the back end, seriously, there are a lot of issues that you can come across. You get, what is always a good journey anyway, it's always a good ride. It's something that will challenge you, which is fine. So we don't really need to go deeply into that. So let's quickly talk about those things that we'll be looking at first on this channel, which are HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. What is HTML? I've mentioned that before, and I've just said it now again. What is even HTML? So HTML, the full meaning is hypertext markup language. Don't be surprised I'm telling you the full meaning. I actually came across this question when I went for NMPC exam, that is job interview exam, I think sometimes around 2018-19, and I was very surprised. It's a kind of stuff that I wasn't even expecting it to even come outside. Like, they just asked, what is the full meaning of HTML? So I'm just telling you guys now. Sorry, I had to talk about that, you get. So I'm just simply trying to tell you guys that it is important that you know the full meaning of what we are about to dive into, you guys. So HTML is hypertext markup language. So what is this and what does it really do? So HTML provides us with markup like tags that we can use to do or to create the structure of a web application or website, you get. So you can easily create the structure of a website or web application using HTML tags. So there are some things we call tags in HTML. So you can use those tags. Those tags, they are just like the ABC in our own alphabet. So you need to use those tags to create anything you want on your web page or on your web application. All right, so you need to use those things to create the structure of your web page or your web application. So thank you very much. So now that we know that HTML is for the structure, you get, then we can easily go to the CSS, which the full meaning is cascading style sheet. So even from the name, you can see that it is used to do what? To add styles to the structure that we've created using our HTML tags. So after creating the structure, then you need to do a bit of styling. You get, you make it look nice. You make it look nice to your clients or to your users, so that they won't just come there and start seeing something that looks somehow, something that is not presentable, or something that is not really looking good like that. You know, these days people are so used to seeing something good that once they come across something that is not good or something that looks off, they easily get pissed off and they can just leave your website, or they can just uninstall your application, which is something that every marketers, software developers, or even business owners try to avoid. Because as a business owner, your goal is that your clients should see your application, use it, and at the end of the day, use it to purchase or use it to buy something. And you know, everything is just to make sales and get profit. So if your clients are seeing your application and they are uninstalling it, which means they are simply uninstalling your pockets too, because you are not going to get anything from that. So I don't know if you guys get that, but that is just how it works, you guys. So after creating the structure with your HTML, then you create or you add style to it using your CSS, you guys. So we'll be looking at how to do that too. So there are syntax that you need to follow, there are things that you need to follow, there are some things that you need to know to do that. So now quickly, let's just compare. Okay, then the third one is JavaScript. Okay, so basically JavaScript just add interactivity to your website, you get. So it adds things that can make your user to play on your site, or to at least do one or two things with the elements or with the content that you have on your site. Yeah, so with just HTML and CSS, your user won't even have anything to do. Their own is just, with just HTML and CSS, their own is just to come there to see what you have on the site, to see how fine it is, the colors you've used, and all those things, and how the layout is, which is not really their own business, you get. But with JavaScript, you can add interactivity, such as you can add a button that will say, okay, click me now and let me tell you the food you ate this morning. Really, you don't even know the food you ate this morning, but you can program some things there that can be so funny that the user can even try it so many times, you get. So you can add a button. Another thing you can do is you can just create like funny applications, like funny things on your website that the user can easily interact with. You can say, okay, click me to change the color of the background. I'm very sure we have all seen applications that have light and dark background. So you can easily use your JavaScript to do that easily, you get, with just a click of a button. So you can use your JavaScript to do that. So depending on how complex your application is, that will now determine the extent to which you will use your JavaScript. So you can use JavaScript for basic things like form validation, to validate the form, like the case or like the scenario where we just talked about now, the Jumia site, where maybe you are filling a complaint form or a special order form. Then maybe you've entered a phone number that's not correct, or you've entered an email that is not in the format of an email, once you press submit, you will see something that will tell you that, hey, sorry Mr. Man, this thing you just entered now is not in the format. So you will see a prompt telling you that, hey Mr. Man, this thing you've entered here is not in the format that we want this field to take. So it might even tell you how to do that, so which you just need to correct and make sure that everything is what fine, you get. So thank you very much, and that's that on this. Now let us just look at an analogy quickly. So there is an analogy I used to use basically for this just for the explanation of this HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So let's take a look at a normal human being, you get. So a normal human being, the skeleton in us, you get, the skeleton in us is the one that is giving us the structure of our body. So this structure we have now, or this physical look that we have now, is simply because of the skeleton that we have inside us. So the skeleton now can be considered as what, the HTML of our body, you get. I don't know if you guys are getting it. So we have the skeleton and we have the flesh, you get, covering it. So the flesh also is like the flesh is a part of what CSS, because without this flesh, if we are to be seeing our skeleton alone, I'm very sure that there's nobody that will like each other, you get. Or let's assume that you are just seeing somebody in their skeleton in their skeletal form, you get. I'm very sure that you can't even stand to watch that kind of person, you get, because the person will not look appealing, the person will not look beautiful, the person cannot look handsome, just because they have just their bone standing, and you get. So, and someone that has just bone standing, I'm very sure that person cannot walk, you get. There might be some things that that are led to that, you get. So aside from that, the basic thing here is that the skeleton is the one that is giving the structure, you get, to the body. Now your flesh, so the flesh is covering the skeleton, at least to some extent. If you see somebody, if you see a complete human being with just these are flesh and every other thing, at least some can still look appealing, some can still look nice, you get, with their flesh and everything. Let's now assume that they are not putting on anything, they are just like normal human being without anything, without clothes and all those things, you get. So that person has a CSS, you get, which has covered what, the HTML. I don't know if you guys are getting this analogy. So another advanced CSS that the person can do is to do what, to put on their clothes. So once you put on your clothes, that is another part of what CSS, you get. So when you put on your clothes, you put on your wristwatch, you put on your shoes, or you put on your palm slippers, you put on your face cap, you put on your shade, that is your eye shade, and you see, you are just trying to beautify your body. So those things are extra CSS that you can add to a web page or web applications. You will see that this wristwatch, the face cap, the clothes, the slippers, everything is just trying to, or what you are simply trying to do, or what the person is simply trying to do, is to beautify his or her body, you get. So with that, then your CSS will now become advanced. Now if you look at that as well, how fine the person will look like, or how fine the person will look, depends on how fashionable the person is. So that is exactly what happens in web design and web development. So how your page looks like, how fascinating, how interesting, or how beautiful your page looks like, depends on you yourself, that is what designing it. It depends on your design, it depends on your designing knowledge, you get. So which is still the same thing. Three people can stand together now, or you can just lock 3 people in a room and tell them to dress and come outside. I'm very sure that if you give them the same accessories and all that, you will still see that some people will still come out beautiful, handsome than the others, you get. So it simply differs, design differs, you get. So but with time, you guys can learn how to do that. I'm very sure that you'll be perfect once you are consistent with what you are doing. I'm very sure you can always do something extra ordinary. You get. So now when you now come to the JavaScript part now is what makes the person to move, what makes the person to talk, what makes the person to slap what makes the person to slap someone. You get. So the person can respond to change, they can respond to anything done to them. You get. They can respond to emotions, they can respond to communications and all those things like that. So if someone just mistakenly makes a person angry, they can easily raise up their hand to give the person slap. And if someone has sprayed them, they can easily put their hand inside the pocket to bring out money to spray it. Yeah, so you can see that those things are kind of interaction, you get, between the hand and the pocket, between the hand and the money. You get. So they can easily do exciting stuffs. You get. So those things that is allowing them to do all those exciting stuffs, aside from just having a kind of fine body, a kind of fine dressing and all those things. Those things are regarded as the JavaScript part. So someone can have a good structure, dress normally and be handsome and everything, and still be appealing to you. You get. But someone that has dressed up, that is looking nice and can perform other stunts like maybe dancing, you get, or singing, or doing some things that are funny, you get. So those ones are now using JavaScript parts of their body, you get. So I've just tried to use that as an analogy. So I don't know, you guys should just sorry for that, but I'm very sure you guys now understand what HTML, CSS and JavaScript is now. So thank you very much. Now, without wasting much time, let's look at how we can start this. So before we go deep into this, it's worthy to note that before we can write any program, we need to have a place, or we need to have we need a medium where we can write our code that can now command the computer on what to do. You get. So just like when you are going to school as well, you can't just go to school with your school uniform alone. You can't just say, okay, you just put your, although some people do it actually, but that is not the major reason for going to school. You can't just put your school uniform on you and you say you are going to school like that without carrying your bag, without going with books, without going with pen, and it is not exam day. You get. So you guys just need to do what? You need to go to school, you put on your school uniform, you go with your bag, your books will be inside, and everything that you need to succeed in school. You get. So which is what we'll be needing here as well. We know we have a laptop, but how can we write these codes to control this particular laptop or the PC that you have? So we'll be making use of something called code editor. Yeah, you got it right, code editor. So a code editor is simply used, you get, to write codes, you get, that can control the computer or that can perform specific tasks for us. You get. So we'll be needing a code editor to start our software development journey. So, and on this channel that is in my training, the code editor we'll be using is Visual Studio Code. You can still call it VS Code, or you can hear people call it VS Code. It is still the same thing. Yeah, thank you very much. So and I think it is good to also note that we have several code editors, and some examples are Atom, we have Sublime, we have PyCharm for Python, and we have PHP Storm for PHP. We have several. Okay, we have Notepad, we have Notepad++. In fact, we have several code editors, and some are specific, just like the PHP Storm. The PHP Storm is specific and is used for PHP language, while the PyCharm is specific, is also specific and is used for Python programming language. So thank you very much. We have several code editors. You can also check that online, and you can use anyone that you feel comfortable with. But in this tutorial, in this training, I'll be using Visual Studio Code. So Visual Studio Code is a popular code editor. It is used locally and internationally. So there's nowhere you go to in this world, if you mention Visual Studio Code, everyone will simply understand it. If you are doing interview or if you are being interviewed by international clients or employers, you get. So if you tell them you use Visual Studio Code, it's something that they know already, so it won't be new to them. And I think it's better to use something that everyone is aware of, so that it will save you the stress of explaining something that you actually think that everyone will know about, and you now find yourself explaining such thing. I think that would not really make sense, you get. So we'll just stick to Visual Studio Code in this training, and let's see how we can get that. Already I have my Visual Studio Code, and don't forget what I called it is what? A code editor. That is a family name, but this particular application is what is Visual Studio Code. So thank you very much. So how do we get this? I already have it installed, but let's see if we can go through the process together. Alright, so we need to go to download your VS Code. Just go straight to Google, then you can type VS Code. Okay, so once you type VS Code, then you can select from the options that you have there. I think the first option is always good. Yeah, so depending on the type of PC you are using, if you are using Windows or you are using Mac, so you will always find the application to download, so that you can install it on your system, then you get the right one for your PC. You get. So this is the page, or this is the page that we landed on after searching for VS Code. So you can click on this first one or this second one, but I'll just advise you go through the second one. There's no need to stress yourself. That is this one that says download. So just click on download, and let's see what we'll have. That is like a shortcut link. So instead of going through the whole site and searching for download, you can just go to the download link and just click on the button to download the type of, or the one that suits, or the one that matches the requirement of your PC. You get. Yeah, so here we have a lot of stuff here. So we have the user installer, we have the system installer. Well, you can just download the user installer. Yeah, I've not really seen any difference between the user installer and the system installer. I think both works fine, so you can just download any one there. So let's see. Or you can simply click on this 64-bit here that is in front of, or 32-bit in front of this user installer or system installer. At the same time, you can also click on this blue box where we have Windows. So if you are using Mac, kindly select this blue box under Mac, where you have Mac OS 10.11 plus, you get. So I am using a Windows PC, so I just need to click on this box here, then it will automatically download the one that will fit my PC. You get, the one that will work well on my PC. So instead of thinking which one will be good for you, you understand, so just click on that one and it will download. It will detect the properties of your PC and download the one that will suit your PC. You get. So that's fine. So my download should start automatically now, and I'm just waiting for this to show on this this bottom left. Okay, yeah, it's here now. It's not showing. Okay, so yeah, we can wait for this to download, and after some time, once you are done downloading, you can double click on it, or you click on this arrow here to select open. You get. That is when you are done. So now it is still downloading. That's why we have open when done. You get. So once it has fully downloaded, the option you find here that is in place of this open when done, it should be what? Open. So you cannot open is to install it. So because I have it installed already, I won't be able to install it with you guys, but I think it's very, very easy. If you're having issues installing the software, please kindly let me know in the comment box, or okay, yeah, just let me know in the comment box and I'll put you through on how to do this. So once you are done, although there is a particular place during the installation which will be very good for you, you are going to you'll be presented with 4 checkboxes. Yes, I think 2 will be pre-checked for you. Then they will ask you, or they will tell you what the other boxes are for, and they want you to select if you will check it or not. So I'll just advise you guys can check the other two, then just make sure that all the boxes in that place are checked. I think that should be the maybe second to the last stage or so. But you guys will find it there is always 4 check boxes, so you can always check all the 4 check boxes and everything will be fine. So once you are done, then it will tell you to launch VS Code, so you can launch it and see what you have there. So I'll be launching my own VS Code as well, so we'll see the kind of environment that it will take you to once you download it. So let's kindly wait for some time. I think I've opened my VS Code and it should open anytime from. Alright, please, if you're having issues downloading this application, kindly let me know in the comment box, then we can settle this maybe personally or anyhow, but I'll be willing to help you guys download this to make sure we're on the same page, then we can move forward with the class together. Alright, so I just opened my VS Code now and it seems to be hanging or something, so let's just wait. I think this should come up now. Okay, kindly give me some time, I think. Alright, so yeah, I have my VS Code open now. So once you've downloaded it, then you should have a screen. They should land on a screen that will have something similar to what you are seeing currently on the screen. So you can see, so this is my VS Code. I've been using it for some time, so that's why some of the informations here might not tally with what you have on your screen, but don't mind, as long as you can see this interface, this dark background interface, and you have this icon here, this VS Code icon, then that means you've done the right thing and we're on the same page. Alright, that's fine. So after downloading our code editor, then the next thing to do now that we have the code editor where we can write our code, the next thing to do now is to start developing our project. So now quickly, before we start creating any project, anytime just let me repeat that again. Anytime you want to create a project, I mean anytime you want to create a project, the first thing you need to do is to create a folder for your project. Please, I want to repeat this again. Anytime you want to create a project, the first thing you need to do is to create a folder for your project. So once you are done creating a folder, then you can now move to the next step. But I don't need to leave you here. I think we can do this together as well. So let's go to our desktop. So let's create a new folder. So I'll be naming the folder my project. Let's see. Alright, you go to new, you right click on your desktop, you go to new, you click on folder, and let's name it my project, or simply my simple project. Oh, maybe my HTML project. Sorry about that. You can give it any name actually. So okay, I think this one is okay for me. So you can also do that if you like to follow what I'm doing here. But basically you can give it any name, and mostly the name that you give this folder, mostly will be the name of the kind of application that you are developing. If it is a website, you can give the folder the name of the website that you are developing. If it is an application, if it is a tic-tac-toe application or Super Mario application, the name of the folder should best be Super Mario. You get? So if it is Ludo game that you want to develop, then the name of the folder should be you get, so the name of that particular game, which is Ludo, you understand? So which is fine. So that's just a side note. So after creating our folder, the next thing we need to do, if you've checked those 4 boxes very well, you can easily come here, right click on that folder that you just created and click on open with code. You still get the same results, but at the same time I will not go through this way. Let me open my VS Code. Then okay, if you don't have a folder open before, you'll be seeing this thing here, and this thing is just showing up because I've clicked on this place. So if you are not seeing it, don't be scared, we are still using the same application. So if I click on this place, you will see that is this first icon here. Then you see that this thing opens up again, but I won't be using this. Let's assume that that thing is not open and I don't know that there is open folder, because most times after working on this code editor for the first time, you won't be seeing this. You get, unless you've not opened a folder, that is when you'll be seeing this. If you've opened a folder before, you won't be seeing this, and if you want to open another folder, you might not know how to do that. So let's just go through the normal way to do that, which is you go to file, you go to open folder, then your file explorer will be opened. All right, so here just make sure that you're on desktop, because that was where we created our folder. So you can select, okay, my folder name, okay, my folder name is my HTML project. So let's open that. You click on it and you select, and you click on select folder. So you will see your VS Code reopened, a kind of reopened, or you can call it restart or refresh. You get, so it wants to load the VS Code with your folder. You get, so that folder that we just created now, you can call it the root folder, or you call it the project folder. You get the root folder, root as in R-O-O-T, the root folder. You get, or you call it the project folder. So thank you very much. So now that we have our project folder opened on our VS Code, which is our code editor, then the next thing to do is to do what? Next thing to do is to create our file, so we can start working on what we want to do. So like I said before earlier, I said what we'll be doing simply is we'll be working on three aspects of front-end development, which is what? HTML, CSS, and what? JavaScript. So the first one we'll be looking at is HTML, and I'm very sure you guys still remember the full name, right? Yeah, that's very good. I just heard you say that now. That's good. So let's go. So how do we create HTML file? So any file that we have, or any file that we want to create, or any file that exists on a PC must have an extension. You get, so it's the extension that will allow the computer or your PC to know how to undo that kind of what file. So the same thing goes to our HTML file. So if you want to create a HTML file, you can give your HTML file any name that comes to your mind. You can decide to give it your own name, you can decide to give it your wife's name, you can decide to give it your kid's name, you can decide to give it your pet's name. You get any name you want that suits you, at least at this stage, you can decide to give it. Yeah, but one thing you need to do is to do what? You add the HTML extension, which is .html. Now before we do that, okay, all right, let me just show you how to do that, then I'll explain some things while I do that. So we click on file, you go to new file, then you click on new file, or use your Ctrl N to do that. So let's see what we have. All right, so when I click on new file, then you guys can see what I have here. So I have something called untitled. I think you guys should be able to see this, untitled 1. You get, so now to know the kind of file that this untitled 1 is, now come to this part here, come to this bottom right corner of this screen. So you will see this place where we have plain text. Can you see it? All right, let me zoom in, let me zoom out if you guys can see that clearly. Oh, is that working? All right, I think okay. All right, so can you see now? So we have plain text here. You can see plain text. So that means this file that we have opened, or this file that's opened by default, is what? Is a plain text what? File. You get, and we don't have any business with plain text file. What we want to do is what? HTML. So let's save it now. So you can press, let's save it as what? HTML file. So you can press your Ctrl S, or you go to file, then you click on what? Save. You get, so when you click on save, it will bring up a prompt, okay, which is a file explorer. So you can name it, let's say I want to name it index. So, and I just said something now, whatever name that you give to your file, don't forget to add the extension, which is what? .html. So this is what we turn the particular plain text file to what? To HTML file, and we can confirm that. So let's say first, All right, so I just saved, and I think, okay, yeah, thank you. So now we cannot go back to this particular place where we saw the plain text text the other time. You get, now you can see that it has changed to what, HTML. So telling us that what, our file has changed from what, from plain text file to what, to HTML file. I'm very sure you guys understand this, and I'm very sure you can create your new file yourself now. That is a new HTML file yourself now. Okay, if you are finding that difficult, let's look at another easy way to create your file. So you can just come here. You can see when I hovered on this icon here, I can see new file. The next one is new folder. I think this one is refresh. Then this one is collapse or something. Yeah, collapse folder in Explorer. Yeah. So now since what we want to do is to create a new file, so just click on this first icon. So you can also name it anything. Okay, let me give you my name. Since my name is Idris, let me just give you my name, idris.html, just like what I just said. Now you get, so whatever name you want to give it the name, but don't forget to add what, the extension, which is what, .html. It is very, very important, very, very important. All right, thank you. So let's go. So you can see gradually we are diving into, we are diving into the main purpose of what, of this our training. You get, so we've taken it up to we've taken it from what software development is up to this stage where we've created what, HTML file. So in this video I'll stop simply at how to add the basic HTML template. Then you watch out for my next video where I'll be talking simply about HTML. You get, so what we'll be doing, I'll be doing we'll be doing more of practical and less of what, talking. The talking is gone. If I'll be saying anything, it will be explanation of what, the tags I am using, why you should use it and why you should not use it, the ones that are common and the ones that are not common. You get, so I'll be dishing out all those things. I'll be giving you those hints that you need to know based on my experience. You get, so I've learned this thing, I've used it to work. It's not just that I just learned it and and I'm just teaching you guys. I've learned it, I'm using it to work, and I've also taught a lot of, like, a number of guys how to write this thing, and they are also doing well. So, and I think yours will not be an exception. You can learn this and perfect it yourself, because honestly you can't become perfect with the if it is only what I teach you guys here that you take home. You get, so it is what you do yourself after looking at the things that I'll be doing for you guys here that really matters a lot. So that will show that you truly understand the concepts and the tricks of the things that I've been explaining, or of the things I'll be explaining in this series. Okay, so thank you very much. Now we've gotten to this, let's cross this bridge and let's see before we stop. Now that we have our file, I'm very sure you guys can still remember we created a folder. We opened the folder on our VS Code. We created a new file. The new file was a plain text. We have to do what, save it as what, as a HTML file by putting the name of the file, then adding .html to it, so that we can have our file as what, HTML file. Thank you. So now let's add the basic HTML template. We have our file ready. So the next thing to do is to do what, to start writing what, the code. So there we have something called the basic HTML template, or something that I call basic HTML template. So there are some markups that you need to add before you start adding markups for your content. So every website that we have on internet today have what, this part have these markups. You get, they have these what, templates. So what's the template? Now let's look at it one by one and let's see. So the first one is what, doc type. Is a doc type tag. Yeah, the doc type tag. So I'll be talking about all these things too. Okay, maybe I should just say one or two things about this now. So the meaning of this doc type, you will see that we have this bracket you are seeing here. The first one is called what, opening angle bracket, while this second one is exclamation, then followed by doc type text, then we have HTML, then we have a closing angle bracket. Please take note of all these characters and what I've been calling, or and what I've just called them now, because those are the things I'll be using later on in my videos. I won't be telling you that this one is greater than or less than. Please, we are not in mathematics class, we are in programming class, so I'll be using the term the term that we use here to call it, please. So it's not greater than or less than, but if that is how you will understand it, but just try to match it with what me I'll be calling it so that you can understand it better. So we have the opening angle bracket and what the closing angle bracket. So thank you. Now this doc type, simply the full meaning of doc type is document type. You get, so you can easily relate with what this tag is actually doing. You get, so document type, it will just tell the system that okay, the type of document that you are about to load or that you are loading is what is a HTML file. So you can see what's in front. So document type HTML, and which is something that is reasonable because we are working on what a HTML file. You get, so doc type HTML. So that means the document type that we are working on is what, HTML. So the next line of code will be to add the HTML tag. Yeah. So one thing you should note is that the first thing you do to write a tag is what? The first thing you do to write a tag is to first type the opening angle bracket. So you can use that, you can do that using by pressing down shift and pressing the comma key. Yes, the comma key. Yes, you see that the sign above it is the opening angle bracket. So that's why you need to hold your shift. Yeah, thank you. So after that, you cannot type the name of the tag. So in the last case, which was what, HTML. So you can now press down shift and the period key, which is full stop. Yeah, period or full stop, anyone you understand there. So you press down the shift key and you press what, your period key or your full stop key, then you get the closing angle bracket. So once you do that, if you're using VS Code, it will automatically complete the tag for you. So we'll still talk about these tags too, maybe in the next video. So for now, let's just focus on how to create a basic HTML template. Then we see how to end this video so it won't get too long. Yeah, thank you. So I think you guys know how to write tags now. Yeah, starting from the opening angle bracket, the tag name, and the closing angle bracket. So we'll talk about this other side later on, but for now you guys should just look at that and let's move on to creating our basic template. So after writing the HTML tag, the next thing we need to add is the head tag. All right, so inside the head tag we need to add the title tag. So inside this title, let's just add something like my simple web page. All right, yeah, are we together? Are you sure we are together? Yeah, I know I'm not too fast, so you guys should try to match up. Yeah. All right, so the next tag we need to add is the body tag. So let's just wait there. Now the thing is, you can see that we've added some markups on this file now. So all these markups together, everything here, I call them the basic HTML template. You get, so this is the basic template that you need, you get, to start creating your web application or your web site. I'm very sure you guys grab that now. So the first thing you do is to put your doc type, which is signifying, or which is pointing to the pointing at or telling us that okay, the doc, or telling the browser that okay, this file that you're about to run is what, a HTML file. You get, so after that you add your HTML tag, you add your head tag. So in between your head tag you have your title tag, and under your head tag you have what, your body tag. So you can also compare, if you can't really remember the structure very well, most people do have problem around where the head should be and where the body should be. You can easily compare this with yourself, you get. So just to get the arrangement, if you look at yourself, does the head come before the body, or does the body come before the head? I think that has given you the answer. Yeah, the head comes what, before the body. So you have your head first before the body. So your head tag should come first before what, the body tag. So inside your head you have what, the title, you get. So I don't know what else to say about that, but maybe the title is just basically your brain, you understand. But well, I'm not saying that anyway, but it's something that you can just relate with, just to remember the structure of this thing. So you have your head first before your body. You can look at your body first before trying to write this code, so you can easily remember that. I know you can remember the doc type HTML easily, so but the head tag and body tag, the placement gives people tough time most times, because I've taught a number of people software development. I've taught them, like I've taught a number of guys, you get, so, and I've seen them make these mistakes, and I hope you will not be one of them, because I've just given you the trick to escape that, you get. So let's go. So now that you have your title tag, you have your body tag, and now let's see. One thing I'll quickly show us now is where will this title tag show up, you get, where will the title tag show up. So this title tag, now let me save it. Oh, something I forgot to explain. Okay, please, I think I will talk about that in my next video, is how to install extensions on your VS Code. So extensions makes your work easier, you get. So there are some things that you need to be doing, or that you're supposed to be doing outside this code editor normally, to make sure that you run your file and display your and you display whatever content that you've added with the markup on your web page, you get. So but with extensions you can easily do those things on your web page, and you get, everything will be so easy and fast. So let me just use this. I'll explain that in the next video, so you guys should just stay tuned. You can so after installing the extension, they will just dive into other parts of HTML. So let's see. I want to open the file now on my browser, so let's see what's going to happen. So I just want to show you something quickly, that the text that we added inside the title, and mind you, the text that you add in between a tag is called the content. It's called what? The content. So I can refer to this as content, I can refer to this as text, you get. So I think you guys should try to understand what I'm referring to whenever I say that, maybe in subsequent trainings, you get. So now you can see what we have here, my simple web page. Now let's go back to the browser and see. So if you look at this top on the tab, you will see something like my simple web page. If you hover your mouse, that is your cursor, on that particular tab, then you will see the name again, my simple web page, just like a drop down there, or the title. So we'll see how to do something like this as well later on. But the thing is, the text that you add in between the text or the content that you set for your title tag is what will appear here. So if you look at this tab for Visual Studio Code, you see something like documentation for Visual Studio something. So it is the text that they've added inside the title tag that is showing up there. So please, you guys just need to understand this. As a take home or as your own personal work, you can decide to change the text, change it to another thing, save it and check the tab and see if that thing will be updated. You get, I think that is a good way to try to play or to try hands-on stuff yourself, you get, just to see if there's any issue. If you try it and there's any issue, please kindly let me know in the comment box, and I'll be willing to help you guys. So thank you very much for staying with me till this time. I hope you guys have learned one or two things, and if you have, please, the first thing I will say is try to practice it again and make sure that you have that thing with you, you get, like you hold on tight to it, and make sure that you don't use it to eat amala or use it to eat rice. You get, sorry I've been mentioning amala, it's just a food I like a lot. So thank you very much. So if you found this video useful, kindly share it, invite your friends, let them come and learn software development too with IDTech. Yeah, thank you very much. So if you find this video useful as well, kindly like, subscribe and share it with your friends. Okay, so it will make YouTube rank these videos among the videos among the videos that will pop up when other people that wants to learn software development search for the kind of video on YouTube, you get. So just kindly like, subscribe and share. If you have a comment, to drop your comment in the comment section and I'll be willing to reply you guys, you get. I'll be very, very happy to help you guys. So thank you very much. I'll see you in the next series, and please, before then, try to practice all these things again. Try to create your folder and do it up to this stage. I know that particular thing can be very easy as you are watching me doing it, you get, but I bet you can't do that 2 times without making mistake. Yeah, Okay, so you want to bet it, right? So try it and tell me in the comment section how many times you tried it before you actually got it right without any mistake. Thank you very much. So I will see you guys in other videos. All right, goodbye and take care.